Hello everyone and welcome to a new video, a new channel and a new beginning. This is the first video from the Your Destiny team and we're really excited to bring you all the Destiny 2 news, raid and loot guides, tips and fun that we have planned for the future. I'm your host Eddie the Chump and today we're kicking off our channel with a universally positive look at the top 5 things we're desperate to see in Destiny 2. Cross-platform play. Ah yes, the news that a lot of players had hoped for hit the internet like a freight train. Destiny 2 would be getting a PC release. To me it had always made sense. Destiny 1 was a game that I thought would appeal greatly to a platform whose players had lapped up games like Diablo and World of Warcraft for years. The looting, the raiding, it's easy to see how it could have garnered an audience. Now with the sequel confirmed for the PC, I think Bungie have recognised this and everyone's excited. Here's the ideal scenario. Players on PC can party with console players, at least for the PvE elements of the game at the beginning. PvP or Crucible is another issue, but not one that is impossible, but that's a subject for another time. For the sake of this video, we're really hopeful that cross-platform makes it into the game. As a channel, we'll be covering all platforms, but I'd be lying if I wasn't excited to see what Destiny would look like on a GTX 1080 Ti with all the settings turned up to expensive. Now there's one reality that we have to be honest with ourselves in, and that's that PC ports of hugely popular console games haven't always had the largest of player bases on the PC platform. One only needs to look at the PC player numbers of the yearly Call of Duty release to understand that. Because of this, games like that have a much shorter lifespan. Nobody wants to play a game all on their own. That is not something we want to see for Destiny 2. Now Destiny does have more to it to appeal to PC gamers than games like COD, and that might be enough to maintain a healthy community, but can you imagine how sick it would be to play on your PC or your console and be able to raid with your friends no matter what system they were using? Of all the no-brainer decisions that have ever been put in front of game developers, this might be the best example. PvE cross-platform play literally has no losers, everyone wins. None of the keyboard and mouse versus controller debate is even relevant. All it would mean is that more people get to play the game they want on their terms, with the people they want to. There's a real opportunity here in Destiny 2 to do something that has never really been done, and that's create a unified community with larger numbers than all the individual ones of yesteryear. Destiny 2 can change the game. We really hope it does. More classes and subclasses. This one's pretty straightforward. I'm sure most people are in agreement that having more interesting and varied build options for your Guardian is desirable. Having 9 classes in total if you count Hunter, Titan, Warlock and all their subclasses individually isn't bad at all. A note on that, Bungie did do a great job of making each subclass feel distinct in Destiny 1. If they continue that trend, we'll all be very happy. But we don't think we're alone when we say we really hope there's more in the sequel. What I personally hope for is that they take the class system and really develop it in terms of its RPG elements. Take a game like Skyrim for instance. Now I know that game is explicitly an RPG experience, and for Destiny we might have to temper our expectations a little in terms of how far they can take class building for balance purposes, but the potential is there. Really what I'm trying to tell you is that I like the idea of a thief-like subclass for my Hunter. Blade had a little bit of it with the invisibility effect options in their build path, but I love the idea of a class that has a totally different playstyle to say a Goldie user. Maybe having a Thief Hunter in your fire team carried small passive loot bonuses. Maybe a Titan Medic class passively boosted your party's recovery stat. Little class-based boons like that so you could really have fun and experiment with how you're playing. That's what I want to see. Strategy and interactivity between classes and fire teams, and to do that and make those choices compelling and fun, you need more options than we had previously. Ranked PvP mode. Ah yes, Crucible, how divisive you can be. One thing that may not divide the crowd, however, is the idea of a ranked mode. Crucible can be a lot of fun. Trials, Banner, they're part of the reason Destiny maintained an audience on Twitch for so long in between content drops. But if there's one thing I've heard the PvP community call for, aside from the obligatory make primaries great again sentiment, a sentiment I agree with wholeheartedly by the way, it's that they want a true ranked mode experience. Perhaps this would be somewhat similar to how Sweats are played. 4v4, stripped back, a decidedly more competitive experience with a clear rule set. Now I understand that's not everyone's thing, but I think it's beyond argument that the desire is there, and it would give Bungie the freedom to say, this regular playlist over here is just for the chaotic fun that Crucible could be, and this ranked one over here is for players and teams who really want to compete. In Destiny 1, Rumble was kind of that playlist, but it wasn't at the same time. It wasn't team-based, obviously. Unwritten rules like waving heavy would go unnoticed by the uninitiated, but a lot of the best players still played there, or in Sweat Customs until Trials came along. Then they'd just steal everyone's lunch money. Having a playlist that was uniquely about trying to be the best would go a long way to satisfying that urge, and feeding the base for any prospective competitive scene. Now I am aware that a lot of the Destiny player base avoids any form of Crucible-like like the plague if they can help it, but that's a shame. What if I told you there'd be special ranked mode loot? Now I have your attention. Armor sets, unique weapons, weapon ornaments, ships and emotes, all the good things, but linked to a mode where you had to really earn them. They wouldn't be drops, they'd be rank rewards as you went up the ladder. That's how you get most Guardians, you see, by appealing to their vaults. More dense content. Right, so that phrase is a little abstract, let me make it simpler. More stuff to do, better questing, is basically what I mean. Less homework, as I call it, more developed and specific questing for items. Don't get me wrong, Nightfalls, Heroics, Story Playlist, Strikes, they can all stay, but I want more. I want the kind of questing that makes the reward feel really special. There's a quest from Elder Scrolls Oblivion. It's an old callback. Some of you may not have even played it. But in this particular quest, the final quest of the Thieves Guild storyline, you go through many different dungeons that have puzzles, platforming, magic use, and specific shooting challenges. And finally, at the end of that, you get one of the coolest items in the game, the Great Cowl of Nocturnal. It really made the journey of getting that item feel epic, and the item itself was akin to a cool exotic helmet. That quest stuck with me for years, and is exactly the kind of thing that should be done to make acquiring exotics feel, well, exotic. There's a bit of that with Husker the Pit into Necrochasm, or say the class-specific exotics quest from the gunsmith like Ace of Spades, but there needs to be more of that. It needs to be difficult but compelling to acquire my Jade Rabbit, not just slap on a 3 of coins and hope for the best. Now, Destiny doesn't have defined dungeons in the traditional sense outside of the full raids, but it could do. I guess you could count Strikes as dungeons, and they do have their own specific loot. One vast improvement was the skeleton key system. If that's brought into Destiny 2 and developed further, we think that would be great. A unified Bungie account. Right, I'm not going to lie to you, this one is kind of selfish. I want my Destiny account to be the same across all the platforms I play. I want to log into my Bungie account on the PC, PS4 and Xbox and have all my stuff be the same. The reason for this is, I may want to PvE on PC if it's cross-platform, but play on console for PvP if that's platform specific. I actually like Crucible, sometimes anyway, and I'm going to want to play where the majority of players are. If that turns out to be console, I don't want to have one set of items over here on my PC and a completely different set over here on PS4. That's needless, and if it turns out to be the case, then I'll probably just play on console. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are weighing up that decision are thinking the same. Hopefully though, a unified account is what Bungie have in mind. If it is, then we're golden. So that's it, 5 of the things we'd most like to see. Let us know in the comments if you have other ideas I didn't mention. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss one of our videos again, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in good company. And finally, please check out our Twitter, it's where you can find updates about new videos and other good stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.